Well, I've done a pretty lengthy series on COVID. I have many videos about that. I've talked about that as it progressed. And I have also talked about recently how I've kind of segregated myself away from politics, um, shutting it off, turning around, not wanting to be involved. And I remember in 2020, not just were we dealing with COVID, but then we had George Floyd. And that atrocity, witnessing that, that happened. That happened. That happened. We all saw it. It happened. And it was day after day after day on the news of that. So not only was it day after day after day on the news about COVID, then it was about um, George Floyd. And I turned it off. I turned it off. I turned off the news. I wasn't going to watch the news anymore. And I didn't. All these years, I didn't. I stopped watching the news. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to stay in this place of anger and sadness. Um, I didn't want to really come to terms with reality. So I turned it off. It's 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now. I turned it off for my own well being, for my own mental sanity, for my own self. And, I didn't do that, I don't think, out of selfish reasons. I did it for reasons that I just had to keep going, and I couldn't be bogged down and worried about these kinds of things. I see both sides to it as far as why I chose to do that and what I did. And I know, we still need to do that. We still need to kind of buffer ourselves about how much we take in and how much we absorb. And if it's getting to the point where it's really distorting and affecting your mental health, take a step back, okay, and turn it off. But it's not going away. It didn't go away. It's still not going away. I mean, geez Louise. We're in our own fucking nightmare. Now. Like, to me back then that was just, that was just too much, COVID was enough, but then what happened to George Floyd, man, that was just over the top, and I can't take it, and I have to protect myself, and I have to shut it off, and I have to get away, and I have to just keep going. But I think there's a healthy line. But now, we, we're in fucking outer space at this point. We are on a different planet at this point. And what's going on? And if you don't think that you're affected by this, you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Take in as much as you can. Take a step back if it's too much. But you need to pay attention. You need to open your eyes. You need to listen. You need to really try to grasp the reality of this whole human experience. I don't know if I have really gotten to that point as far as understanding all of this and grasping all of this, but I'm certainly aware now. And I'm not going to turn it off. I'm not going to not listen, not see, not speak. Those times are gone. For me. And it seems to me that, I'm not the only one. And I think that's a good thing. I think now that a white person, not just a person, but a lady, a white female, was killed I really don't want to get into politics, and I really don't want to get into all the angles here, but let's be honest with ourselves here. That's what happened. Now that a white female was killed, maybe people will start waking the fuck up. Maybe people will start seeing that, wow, that does affect me. That could be me too. That could be somebody that I know. Us whiteys, us white folks, who think we have it all privileged and we're not affected by shit. I wake up every day like it's another day. And I don't wake up in fear of what's going to be today. I wake up and I try to be productive, and I try to, add something to this life rather than take away, if I can. It's difficult because think anybody feels safe. Some people are brave enough to admit that. Most of us, I think, are too afraid to admit that. Or they just want to keep going along like everything's normal, nothing to see here. Keep in line. Take the next step. It's not my problem. It doesn't happen to me, so it's not my problem. Man, I think we are there. I think we are there at that point of really learning what the definition of humanity is. And for the people who think that it's not their problem and they don't care and it doesn't affect them, well, you know what? We all affect each other. And without one person, there's not this. And without one person, there's not that. Without this group of people, there isn't this. Without that, there isn't that. And okay, I'm just a commoner and I am not, using specific details or anything like that. But I'm talking about humanity. Us being more alike than different. We are. We are. I don't give a fuck who you are, what your skin color is, what your gender is, how you associate, your age. It doesn't matter at this point. Really. It doesn't matter at this point. None of that does. This is a test. This is not a test. We've been tested. We've been tested. We've had enough tests. And sometimes we pass. Sometimes we fail. No, it's not a test. This is real. This is reality. This is the reality that we are creating. And we have the power to change it. I think people are terrified of that knowledge, that they actually have the power to change. Just one person, just a small person, or a small group, or words, or what have you. We want somebody to swoop in and fix it. To vote a new person in. That's never gonna fucking happen. Maybe the clouds will part and we'll all be redeemed, and the ones who are sinners will go to hell. We have the power to change it. We do. And seeing the humanity and seeing ourselves in others. I don't live in Minnesota, but I see what the fuck's going on there. You can't tell me that it's not going on there, because it is. Does that mean it doesn't affect me? Does that mean it won't happen to me? Does it mean it won't be here? No. Really, I don't know. I'm a spiritual person, but I think that what happens to all happens to the whole, the collective. That's in spiritual terms. But seriously? Seriously? That can happen anywhere. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from. This is reality. This is motherfucking reality. And there's nobody coming to save me. You know, I'm a grown-ass adult now. Mom and Dad, they're not going to come and save me from this. You know, I'm not some child. I don't feel like there's any waking up from the nightmare. But I do believe that us as individuals, we do have the power to change it. I don't know how that's going to happen. But I certainly hope that it's peacefully. And I just can't go on another day without talking about this, without talking about these things. Not talking about me and my past and what happened and yada, yada, yada. You know, there's times for that too, but this is serious, folks. This is real. It's time to open your eyes, open your ears. Remember that you have a heart. Remember that you have a soul. Remember where we come from. Remember my video when I talked about how this nation was founded? Off the backs of the people who actually took us in and fed us and clothed us and sheltered us, nurtured us, and we killed them. Right? Right? Isn't that what we did? We killed them, we enslaved them, we used them, we cut their hair, we indoctrinated them with our own fucking religions, stole their land, make them walk. Thousands and thousands and thousands of natives who were already here died because of us. Go back and watch my video. I don't know if we're too far gone at this point, but I think from how I feel and what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing out there, what others are talking about, what others are thinking and saying, I don't think we're too far gone. But for the ones who want to close their eyes and not listen and not speak, pretend like it's business as usual and everything's fine and it doesn't happen to me, wake the fuck up. Because it is you. It is happening to you. You're going to have to wake up. You're going to have to make an effort. I don't know how you choose to do that. Even if it's in your own home, in your own room, coming to grips with the reality of life. You're going to have to wake up and you're going to have to face this. You're going to have to face the monsters under the fucking bed and in the closet. Because it's real. It's happening. It's not discriminative. It's not selective. It's right and wrong. It's black and white. And I don't mean black and white as in color, but it is the basic knowing right from wrong, good from evil. I'm obviously passionate about this. I obviously care. And in a way, yeah, I am concerned about voicing my opinion, but what happens if I say nothing at all? Well, then I stood for nothing when I could have. So, I'm going to go outside, collect myself. I needed to tell you that today. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Know that you're not alone. Be big and brave. Stand up for what is right and what is wrong. I guarantee you we are all more alike than different. We're figuring that out now, aren't we? It's not an easy lesson. Yeah. Be safe out there. Have a peaceful day. Goodbye.